All right, let's get right into it. Tucked away in the jungles of Indonesia, there's a place that some researchers claim could shatter everything we thought we knew about human history. We're talking about Gunung Padang, a site that isn't just old, it might be impossibly old.
And that's the big question we're tackling here. Could the world's most ancient pyramid actually be this mysterious, grass-covered hill in Java? The claims about this place are so absolutely mind-blowing, they could force us to tear up the history books and start over.
So, where does a story this wild even begin? Well, the name itself, Gunung Padang, translates to Mountain of Enlightenment. It's a place that's been wrapped in local legends for centuries. You know, stories about a mythical king who supposedly built a palace there in a single night.
And here's the crazy part. We almost never found out its secrets at all. A Dutch archaeologist made a note of it way back in 1914, but then, well, with everything going on in the world, it was basically lost to time. It just vanished from the records until 1979, when some local farmers literally stumbled upon it again, kicking off the modern investigation.
For a long time, the official story was, well, kind of boring. Archaeologists saw the stones on the surface and said, okay, it's a megalithic site, probably for ceremonies, built a few thousand years ago. Cool, sure, but not exactly a world-changing discovery. Case closed, right? It was just filed away.
But then, in 2011, everything changed. One scientist showed up, and he didn't just see a pile of rocks on a hill. No, he saw the entire hill as the artifact. And that one idea sparked a revolution. And this is where our main guy comes in, Dr. Danny Helman Nadawijaya. He's a geologist, and when he looked at the shape of that hill, how weirdly perfect and symmetrical it was, his geologist brain was screaming, no way this is natural. He came up with this incredible hypothesis. What if the whole hill is a giant man-made pyramid that's just been buried for thousands of years?
And this wasn't just some wild guess, okay? He and his team brought out the big guns. We're talking ground-penetrating radar, core drilling, the works. They basically gave the whole mountain a high-tech ultrasound to see what was hiding inside.
And what they found? Well, let's just say it blew everyone away. This was not just a hill with some rocks on it. It was like a historical layer cake, a complex, multi-layered structure. And the deeper they looked, the crazier the timeline got.
Okay, so the top layer, no surprises there. The visible stones on the surface dated back about 3,500 years. That lined up perfectly with what archaeologists had been saying for decades. Pretty standard stuff.
But then, they drilled down a little further, and the second layer came back with a date of around 8,300 years old. Okay, stop. That is a huge deal. That's thousands of years older than the pyramids of Giza. It's older than the first cities in Mesopotamia. On its own, that discovery is history-making.
And just when you think it can't get any crazier, they hit the bottom. The core samples from the deepest layer, almost 15 meters down, returned a date that just seems impossible, up to 28,000 years old. Let that sink in. We're not talking before Giza anymore. We're talking about the peak of the last ice age.
So let's just pause and think about what this really means. If that date is correct, it means some advanced group of people were doing massive construction projects at a time when we're taught everyone was a simple hunter-gatherer living in caves. It means there's a whole chapter of the human story that has been completely lost.
Now, you can't just drop a bomb like that on the history books and expect everyone to just accept it. As you can probably guess, this kicked off an absolute firestorm of a debate in the academic world.
So you've got two camps. On one side, Dr. Hillman's team is saying, look at the radar scans showing chambers. Look at these core samples, the dates are the dates. But on the other side, mainstream archaeology is hitting back saying, whoa, not so fast. This is probably just a weird natural volcano. And that old organic material, it could have just washed down into the soil over time, contaminating the samples. It's this epic showdown of new data versus the established story.
And you can really hear the challenge in Dr. Nadawijaja's own words. He's basically saying, look, I know this is hard to accept. I'm not trying to erase history. I'm trying to add a new first chapter. But for many, his claims felt like an attack on everything they thought they knew about the ancient world.
And for a minute there, it looked like this was really going to happen. The Indonesian government was all in, pouring money and resources into the dig. The president at the time was so invested he had a helipad built, just to check on the progress. But the backlash from the academic world was intense and relentless. And in 2014, when a new government came in, the project was shut down. Just like that. The digging stopped, and the site went quiet.
But here's the thing. Even though the official work stopped, the idea didn't go away. Because Gunung Padang isn't some weird isolated case. It's actually one piece of a much larger puzzle that suggests our ancient past is way stranger than we imagine.
To really get a sense of how insane this claim is, you have to look at this timeline. For years, we all thought Göbekli Tepe in Turkey was the big shocker, right? Pushing civilization back to almost 12,000 years ago. But Gunung Padang, at 28,000 years, that would more than double that record, placing sophisticated building deep inside the Ice Age.
So you're probably asking, okay, if there was this super advanced Ice Age civilization, where did they live? Well, one of the leading theories is a place called Sunderland. During the Ice Age, so much of the world's water was locked up in glaciers that sea levels were way lower. Southeast Asia was this single, massive continent. And guess what would have been a high, safe mountain peak on that landmass? Yep, Gunung Padang.
And once you start looking for this pattern, you see these hints, these echoes all over the world. You've got the Yonaguni Monument off the coast of Japan, another huge underwater structure some say is man-made. You've got all the legends of lost continents like Atlantis and Mu. And then there's the biggest clue of all, the Great Flood. I mean, every ancient culture has a flood myth. Could these all be fragmented memories of a real event, like the drowning of a lost world like Sunderland?
So, where does that leave us? Gunung Padang is still a massive question mark. Is it a natural wonder, or is it the smoking gun for a lost civilization? The truth is, we don't know for sure. The work is unfinished, but it makes you wonder, doesn't it? If our entire history could be upended by what's under just one hill, what other incredible secrets are still out there, buried under the ground or deep beneath the waves, just waiting to be found?